recapitulation of the unit 1, that is your chemical reactions and the equations. Now, whatever the reactions happening around us every time, even in our body,
Ma'am,
that
when
is
you
also
will tell.
um, in a result only I will tell beta.
Okay.
Okay. So whatever the chemical reaction is taking place even in our body, that is called as a chemical reaction. Now, in this case, we say that there can be the changes, different changes which can take place. The processes, we say, the processes in which the original substance does not lose its nature or identity to form a new chemical substance, it is called as a physical change. मीन्स फिजिकल चेंज में क्या हो गया, जिसमें ओरिजिनल सब्सटेंस जो है इट हैज नॉट लॉस्ट इट्स नेचर और आइडेंटिटी. एंड another type of a change is called as a chemical change. Chemical change means what? That in this, original substance loses its nature, identity, in order to make or in order to form the new substance, new chemical substance. That is a chemical change. And when a new chemical substance is being formed, it will have the different properties. Okay. Now, second thing comes over here. Then what does mean the chemical reaction? Chemical reaction is what? Basically, in the case of a chemical reaction, we say it is the rearrangement of atoms that takes place between the reacting substances in order to form the new substances having different properties. Now, on the basis of chemical reaction, we can say that we have the two categories. One category is the reactant, another is a product. So what does these two? जब भी कोई chemical reaction होगा, it results in the formation of a new substance. That new substance formed is going to called as a product, and the substance which has taken part in a chemical reaction is called as a reactant. For example, we say that there is a reaction between a magnesium and the air. That is your O2. So these two are going to be what? These two are going to be your reactants, and they are going to form a magnesium oxide that is going to be a product. For this particular, we have done the activity also in the laboratory. Okay. And according to the question answers also, this particular activity is very, very important. That whenever you are going to bring a magnesium ribbon to burn, it burns with a dazzling white light and changes into a white powder, which is called as a magnesium oxide. Then its reaction should be the balanced. Then there was a few things in the this, that when you are burning a magnesium ribbon, first you have to rub it with the sandpaper. Why we have to rub it with the sandpaper? So that when the magnesium ribbon is exposed to moisture, it is going to form a white layer of magnesium oxide on its surface, which hinders in the burning of the magnesium. Okay, these two questions beside a complete activity we can expect. What type of a chemical reaction it is? It is a combination reaction. Second activity which we have is the reaction between a lead nitrate, that is your PbNO3 2, plus potassium iodide, Ki. Okay, just hold for a minute, everyone. Sorry for interruption. Now, in this case, what is happening that when your lead nitrate reacts with a potassium iodide, it forms a lead iodide. This lead iodide is what? It is a precipitate form, plus it forms a potassium nitrate. Now, this particular reaction, in this reaction, it is what? It is a precipitation reaction over here. Now, in this precipitation reaction, we say a deep yellow precipitate is formed of a lead iodide. And why we are calling it as a precipitate? Because it is not dissolving in the water. Or you can say this aqueous form which is being formed over here. Okay. Another thing, on the basis of this, we have the characteristics of a chemical reactions. Now, what are the characteristics of a chemical reaction? On the basis of this, what are the characteristics? First is formation of a precipitate. Second, change in temperature. Then change in color. Then change in state. And then evolution of gas. These are the few characteristics of the chemical reaction. Now let's discuss the precipitate formation of precipitate. Now in this case we say a precipitate is a solid product which separates out from the solution during a chemical reaction. Or you can say कि वो एक ऐसा product है which is insoluble in the water. When you are going to pass a gas into an aqueous solution, means आपने कोई भी एक aqueous solution ले लिया. Like in the class I gave you an example कि जब दूध है, दूध फट जाता है, what happens कि नीचे नीचे some comes over here and white layer comes upside. That is called as your precipitate. अब इसमें example can be what? Barium chloride is added to the solution of a sodium sulfate. Now when it is being added, we get a barium sulfate as a precipitate. Whenever you are making any precipitate, a downward arrow is being there for the representation. Okay. Coming to the evolution of a gas. In the case of a evolution of a gas, for example, you have taken a zinc and dilute HCl or sulfuric acid, anything. This also I have shown you this. Put a cork on this. You put a HCl in it or H2SO4. Put zinc in this. What is going to happen? You will find a evolution of gas. Now, which gas comes out? That is your hydrogen gas over here. You can say this reaction, if you look your metals and non-metals, a reaction between a dilute acid and a reactive metal. Another, change in temperature. Change in temperature, what happens that in the case of some reactions, it is characterized by change in temperature either by absorbing or by releasing a heat energy. Now, if in a reaction, in a chemical reaction, a heat energy is being evolved, then it is going to reaction. When it is going to increase the temperature, it means the solution becomes a hot. Another case is what? When the chemical reaction absorbs the heat energy, then it is the temperature of a reaction is going to decrease. Therefore, the solution is going to become a cold. So this change in temperature, we can say that what is going to happen? या तो temperature में increase होगा या फिर decrease होगा. On the basis of this increase and decrease of a temperature, we define a reaction as a exothermic and a endothermic reaction. Exothermic reactions कौन से हो गए जिसमें heat is being released out, and endothermic in which heat is released during the reaction. Okay. Now what is happening? For example, आपने एक beaker लिया. You have taken a one beaker. इसमें you have kept a water and a calcium oxide. Now when you are going to touch a beaker, what is going to happen? You will feel that it is being hot. So this type of a reaction is what? It is a exothermic reaction. Okay. Now, melting of ice. Melting of ice is what? It is a physical reaction. But when ice get melt, when it gets melt, when you are providing it a heat, आपने बर्फ जो है, आइस जो है वो फ्रीजर से निकाली, उसको बाहर रख दिया, तो ऑफ कोर्स योर टेम्परेचर इज व्हाट? लोअर, मींस आप उसको हीट प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो, तो देयरफॉर मेल्टिंग ऑफ आइस विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज द एंडोथर्मिक reaction. Next is change in state. Change in state means what? Ki like when you are burning a candle, it means it is a combustion reaction. When you are burning it, its state is wax is a solid and it is being changed in a liquid form, and a carbon dioxide is also released. So that will be considered as a change in state, combustion of a candle wax. Change in color. Change in color means what? That for example, you have taken a acid, lemon juice we take, and with what we do, we put some like potassium permanganate in that. Now what happens that there is the, on adding a lemon in a potassium permanganate, you just look the both colors. What's happened? Potassium permanganate जो है, it is a purple in a color. जैसे आप उसमें acid डालोगे, what it is going to happen? It is going to become a purple color is going to disappear. So that will be your chemical reaction. Okay.
Ma'am, potassium permanganate is dissolved in the water or in the solid state only?
नो, पोटेशियम परमैंगनेट के विदित क्रिस्टल्स आते हैं, वो क्रिस्टल्स हम वाटर के अंदर डिसॉल्व करते हैं, तो इट इज बेसिकली अ लिक्विड फॉर्म. ओके. नाउ वो जो लिक्विड फॉर्म है उसके अंदर आप जैसे एसिड डालोगे, तो व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन? इट्स पर्पल कलर विल disappear. In the class higher classes you will read about the potassium permanganate also. Okay.
I
Basically जब हम
that also.
एसिड बेस के जब आप रिएक्शंस करते हो, in that we use a potassium permanganate.
Okay.
Okay beta. Now, further we have the different type of the chemical equations. Chemical equations आपकी एक हो गई, a chemical reaction in which there is a word equation, and another is a in the terms of the symbols and a formula. Word equation means क्या हो गया? अगर मैं ऐसे लिख दूं, magnesium plus sulfuric acid gives me magnesium sulfate plus water. This will be my word equation. अब अगर मैं इसे symbol equation या formula equation में convert करती हूँ, तो that is Mg plus H2SO4 gives me a MgSO4 plus H2O. Okay, sorry, not H2O, hydrogen. Okay, this will be my formula equation or a symbol equation. Now, another thing, when we write a chemical equation, so what we do, we have the left hand side and a right hand side, which comes in the balancing part. Now say suppose if I take this equation only, in this equation when I want to balance, I require to balance each and every atom present on the both side, for which I told you the LHS and RHS concept. We just write down the every element present on both the side and we write down their numbers. Now, if both the side the numbers are equal, then it is going to called as a balanced chemical equation. And if it is unequal, like if I write down H2 plus O2 gives me the H2O. Here, the number of the atoms present in both the sides is different. Therefore, this type of equation is called as a unbalanced chemical equation. So for that particular, we require to balance it. Another thing, a 3 marks question comes sometimes, that how can you make your chemical equation more informating? First point, by indicating the physical states of both, that is your reactants and products present in a chemical equation. Second, by indicating the heat change. Okay, heat change has taken place. If any heat change has taken place, then you have to write down. अगर नहीं हुआ है, then no need to write down. Then by indicating the concentration of acid or the base. Concentration of the acid or the base का मतलब क्या हो गया? जो हम लिखते हैं aqueous form या dilute form या concentrated form, that. Then fourth condition is by indicating the conditions under which reaction taken place. Means कि आपकी रिएक्शन को आपने हीट दिया, हाई टेम्परेचर दिया, whatever the condition is being provided over there, that means you're indicating the conditions under which a reaction has taken place. These are the few points which we require to write down. Then we have the types of a reaction. The first type is a combination reaction. Combination reaction means in which two or more elements or compounds combined to form a single compound is called a combination reaction. For example, I'm writing a balanced equation only, water. Okay. Decomposition. अब decomposition में generally we get this question also, that why the decomposition reaction is a opposite of a combination reaction rather than a definition. Basically, decomposition reaction is a reaction in which single compound breaks down into two or more simpler substance. In this then, we have the different type of a decomposition reaction. One is a thermal. Thermal means you are providing a heat. Another is a electrolytic. Then we have the photolytic. Thermal means कि आप उसे heat कर रहे हो and it is converting into something else. Electrolytic means that you are providing a electricity to a chemical reaction and it is converting into something else. Then we have the photolytic. Photolytic means that in the presence of a light. For example, silver bromide or silver chloride salt gets decomposed in the presence of a light. Okay. Then we have the displacement reaction. Displacement reactions क्या हो गए? Displacement reaction basically takes place on the basis of the reactivity series. कि जो ज़्यादा reactive होगा, it is going to displace the less reactive element. अब for this you require to learn the reactivity series. That is your potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen, copper, mercury, silver, gold, platinum. Okay. Now ये हाइड्रोजन से ऊपर वाले जो है, they are the very reactive one and these are the less reactive one. Top to bottom, your reactivity decreases. Means potassium is the most reactive and your platinum is a least reactive. Now basically displacement reaction के अंदर क्या होगा? इस रिएक्शन में more active element is going to displace a less active element from its compound. At the same time, in this we have the another reaction also, which we called as a double displacement reaction. Double displacement be on the basis of this chemical reactivity series only take place. But in the case of double displacement, your reaction in which two different atoms or group of atoms or compounds react to form the new compound. Means कि ions के बीच के अंदर displacement होगा. That is your double displacement. Another reaction we have the precipitation reaction. Precipitation reaction means those reaction in which aqueous solution of two compounds on mixing forms a insoluble compound which separates out as a solid. Now, in all the cases, you should have at least 2 examples each. The last and the most important reaction is your oxidation and reduction reaction, which we called as a redox reaction. Now, oxidation means that there will be the gain of oxygen or loss of hydrogen. Reduction means loss of oxygen and gain of hydrogen. On the basis of, we have other two terminologies, that is your reducing agent and oxidizing agent. Your reducing agent is a agent which is, or you can say, which lose hydrogen and gain oxygen. It is a reducing agent. And your oxidizing agent is what? Which lose oxygen and gain hydrogen. Means अगर मेरे पास कोई reaction है, for example CuO plus H2 gives you a Cu plus H2O. तो ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, ये Cu कॉपर ऑक्साइड ने लूज किया है ऑक्सीजन. सो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग टू इट? सॉरी, इसका रिडक्शन हो रहा है. अब व्हेन इसका रिडक्शन हो रहा है, इट मींस इट इज द एजेंट विच इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर प्रोवाइडिंग अ ऑक्सीजन. तो इट इज गोइंग टू बी अ ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट. H2O, यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? ऑक्सीडेशन. मीन्स योर हाइड्रोजन इज हु? हाइड्रोजन इज अ agent which is responsible for the gaining of the your oxygen. It means it is going to be a reducing agent. In this manner, you can learn this concept. 100% question comes from here. Now, on the basis of all this, we have the effect of oxidation and reduction. First effect is what? It damages the metals.
Reduction and oxidation again.
देखो बेटा, सिंपल कॉन्सेप्ट है कि जिसका रिडक्शन होगा, इट इज गोइंग टू एक्ट एज अ ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट. क्यों? क्योंकि उसकी वजह से किसी और को ऑक्सीजन मिल रही है. और जिसका ऑक्सीडेशन होगा, इट इज गोइंग टू एक्ट एज अ रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट. क्यों? क्योंकि वो रिस्पॉन्सिबल है फॉर द लॉस ऑफ द ऑक्सीजन. ओके. Now this oxidation has a damaging effect basically on the metals as well as on the food. अगर ये metals पे है, then it is come under the category of the corrosion. And if it is in the case of food, then it is the rancidity. Corrosion basically क्या है? It is a process of gradual deterioration of the metals due to the attack of atmospheric oxygen, or you can say gas. Atmospheric gas. Okay. Now for example, आपका आयरन हो गया, आयरन के ऊपर रस्ट आ जाता है. That is the best example. एल्युमिनियम हो गया, उसके ऊपर करोजन हो जाता है. तो that is your, that much you should know in the case of corrosion. How you can prevent it? By painting it, by oiling it, by greasing it. In this, the important part is the rancidity. Rancidity means oxidation of fats or oils in a food, which brings an unpleasant taste as well as the odor. Now, methods of preventing rancidity is what? First method is by adding an antioxidant to the food. Now, antioxidant के example क्या है? BHT and BHA. BHA means butylated hydroxyanosole. BHT means butylated hydroxytoluene. Second method is by flushing them with a nitrogen gas. जो आपके चिप्स पैकेट हो गए या प्लास्टिक बैग्स हो गए, we flush them with a nitrogen gas. Why? Because it is unreactive. Third is by keeping the food in a refrigerator. Fourth, by storing a food in a airtight containers. Fifth, by storing a food away from the light. And you can also do the vacuum packing. अब यहाँ पे आई एम हैविंग वन थिंग टू डिस्कस विद यू ऑल. जब ये प्रिवेंटिंग रेंसिडिटी आता है बेटा, अगर आपका क्वेश्चन आता है दैट राइट डाउन द मेथड फॉर द प्रिवेंशन ऑफ रेंसिडिटी, आप कुछ भी लिख सकते हो. आप उसको रेफ्रिजरेटर में रखो, आप वैक्यूम पैकिंग करो, एयरटाइट कंटेनर में करो, यू कैन राइट डाउन एनीथिंग एंड यू विल गेट अ फुल मार्क्स. बट अगर क्वेश्चन ये आता है दैट what antioxidant you have add या addition of antioxidant, तो उसके अंदर अगर आप लिख देते हो रेफ्रिजरेटर या वैक्यूम पैकिंग, you will get the 0 marks. Antioxidant means BHA and BHT only. Got it, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Now in this,
Yes, ma'am.
anyone having any doubt?